there are more competing versions out there than seems entirely necessary, Narcissus simply starves to death as he sits there by the pond, gazing at his reflection. Eventually, he transformed into a white and yellow flower, which has since been named after him. The Narcissus genus of flowers includes the daffodil. Whichever version of the myth we decide to believe, poor Narcissus was the first person ever, as far as we know, to fall victim to this powerful kind of self-love. But then again, being that he is a mythical figure, it seems likely that the problem was a familiar one even before the story was first told. Myths usually describe and explain things that people have already made note of. We've all come across them. The people who talk about themselves incessantly, announcing their incredible knowledge, skills, experience and credentials to the world, who feel entitled to the best of whatever life has to offer, who feel better, more attractive and more successful than their peers, who take selfies by the hundreds, painstakingly pore over them to single out the best one, and then fly into a violent rage if it doesn't receive as many likes as they feel it deserves. These are the people who go to great lengths to be trendy, who put great value in being seen, and who seem to be prepared to do almost anything to stand out. They get upset when the success they're expecting fails to materialise, and succumb to needy whining whenever things don't go their way. Perhaps you're thinking to yourself that people like this are nothing new. We used to just think to ourselves, what a jerk. Nowadays, people hardly even raise an eyebrow at this kind of thing. It's the new normal. Families accumulating massive debt just so they can keep up with the Joneses. Parents convincing their children that they can be anything they want because of how naturally fantastic they are. Influencers, whose only real achievement is appearing in social media in trendy outfits. How long has it been this way? School kids, who feel they don't need to study because they reckon they already know everything. Grade averages dropping in our schools, despite the constant dumbing down of the grading criteria. Families being run by members who have insufficient or no real-life experience. Teenagers choosing the family's holiday destination. Mothers buying their teenagers cars that cost more than the ones they drive themselves. University students who, rather than engaging with their ideological opponents in debate, form mobs to shout and cause enough ruckus to make sure that speakers they disapprove of won't be able to make themselves heard. Individuals who openly admit that they would do anything, literally anything, in order to be successful. Successful at what, one wonders? Perhaps at participating in reality shows on TV. Shows that feature aspects of human anatomy and behaviour that would have been incredibly shocking just a few decades ago. What we think of as normal has taken on a very different face. The connections between the preceding descriptions and narcissism are as evident as they are disquieting. All of those descriptions include significant signs of narcissistic behaviour. Sometimes, though, you need to take a few steps back to be able to detect the pattern. But as soon as you do, you see it as clear as day. 2. Psychologists are more or less in agreement. Clinical narcissism occurs in somewhere between 1 and 2% of the population. However, there is no absolute consensus on the subject, and different researchers quote different sets of figures. Disagreement and argument over these issues is rife in the field. But for our purposes, 1 or 2% will be accurate enough.